Today is 830th day, and I'm here to lessons I learn. I'm learning. I hope this will support your dreams. Your goals allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about imagination. I was listening yesterday to a podcast, and it showed that how important is the imagination. I wanted to look into a little bit more deep, because it said that imagination is a powerful tool when you use for good things, and it's very, very bad things when you use for bad things. Because a lot of times people get into depression because they visualize, imagine the future they potentially will live, but now they realize that they don't live that life. They look into the current life and they realize that there's a massive big gap between what they visualize, what they imagined, and where they currently live. And that gap, they don't know what to do about it. And because of that, they start to get depressed. So imagination could be a powerful tool when you use for positive things. But positive things like really pursuing a business, creating, solving problems, but imagination is a massive tool to do that. Today I'll focus on really how to improve imagination, how to work on building the skill. And when you know how to improve your imagination, then of course you're able to work on it and use for positive things. So number one is daydreaming. So that means that when you live your life on a day-to-day basis, you're able to really start to think, okay, where I could be now, what I could achieve. So that means being able to really sit down, reflect, and daydream. What I would love to do instead of now, like what I could do now. Like for example, I'm recording a video now, like what I could do differently, what I could do with this time. When you go at work and you're able to question things, really visualize and daydream what potential could be. So when you daydream, you think about possibilities, opportunities, and all those opportunities and possibilities allow us to think, okay, what I need to change. Number two is visualize. Picture like those different scenarios in your mind. That means that if you want to be a public speaker, visualize speaking in front of 15,000 people. If you want to be pursue different careers, visualize how that potential could look like. Imagine sitting in the office, for example, maybe you want to be a CEO. Imagine really leading people, having that maybe office, maybe like why you want to be a CEO? That's a big question. Do you want to have an office, or do you want to serve people? And being able to visualize the things that you want to do will improve your imagination. Number three is writing stories. That means that when you really want to improve imagination, so that means that you're able to really sit down and journal, write stories, like create stories, write day to day. So it means you're able to really try to come up with different stories. And those trying to come up with the imagination to really work on developing that. And one of the best things is that when we write something, we better remember them much better. Like there's some kind of massive power when you're able to write things. So when you write the stories and really come up with stories, and it could be that at the beginning it will be hard to come up with stories, but this imagination is a muscle. So if you write little by little, it will come up with something to write sooner or later. Number four is drawing and painting. Now sometimes I feel that I just really love to draw and paint, and just one line after another, there is something always happens. And after all those lines, some structure always comes up. So that if you really want to improve imagination, you understand that sometimes just line by line, still and then end up something. It's a very powerful thing. Always was amazed sometimes that you just randomly paint something, and at the end you just make some brushes and you see some kind of structure. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's why you are not afraid to imagine. And sometimes you start from one angle, other angle, third angle, and then and now I'm able to connect the dots. You need to make enough dots to connect the dots. Because sometimes you just didn't make enough dots to be able to really connect the dots. And drawing and painting is a beautiful thing to really improve imagination. Number five is mind mapping. So that means you're able to really sit down and really map out all your ideas. So really create structures, diagrams, like charts. And really think how you really want to express your ideas, how you want to create your ideas. And mind mapping is a beautiful thing because you're able to see your minds on the diagram. on a beautiful picture and you're able to adjust, pivot, take away some things, maybe add things, and really imagine how this diagram of your mind could look differently. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Number 6 is role playing. So putting yourself in different shoes, putting like imagine that if you are carpenter, how your life could look like. Imagine if you could be a public speaker, how your life could look like. If you're an entrepreneur, how your life could look like. Role play, different lifestyles. How you would wake up, how you will live your life, how your morning would look like, how your evening would look like, and different things so that we're able to really step in different shoes, understand different perspectives from different people, and that will allow you to build your imagination. Number 7 is music or pure poetry. So really being able to listen the music that inspire you, and what kind of maybe worshiping music, like there is maybe some like classic music. I don't know what kind of music, maybe even metal, even though I'm not a big fan of it. But so like what kind of music puts you in a state that you really start to imagine things. And it might be different music for different people. In poetry as well, like reading and understanding and trying to rhyme the way and speaking and reading out loud. It's a beautiful thing. And I truly believe that poetry is one of the things that really improves communication because you need to work on tonality, on the rhyme, and being able to. But of course, poetry you need to speak out loud. You read out loud to be able to get the most advantage of it. Number 8 is brainstorming. Because brainstorming is a very beautiful thing to be able to brainstorm on a piece of paper, brainstorm just in thoughts. And the easiest to brainstorm, of course, always is on a piece of paper, on journal, and write all the ideas, all possible ideas. And don't stop, like 5 minutes brainstorm, idea by idea, idea by idea, idea by idea. And after a while, you will stop and it's like, do I still have some ideas? Because a lot of times people are overloaded by ideas, overloaded by troubles. So when you put everything on a paper, you realize that this is not that much. You always thought it's a lot, but when you still put in a paper, you're able to be still. Because imagination starts to work with you. You are able to be present, still. So we need to be present, mindful. And being able to do that brainstorming allows you to create imagination, and at the same time, it helps to be present and really allowed to be still and really click in that muscle of imagination. Number 9 is reading inspirational literature. It could be even fantasy. Maybe it's some personal development books that is story based. Some books that really inspires you. What kind of books inspires you? I truly believe that reading is essential. And I really love I think from John C. Baxter said that at first I was reading and learning and connecting the dots. And after a while I was able to create by myself. So it might be that you don't have imagination, but if you read a lot of people who have a lot of imagination, you will be able to really grab their imagination and start to connect the dots and find your own imagination. So it means that you need a spark. You need some kind of spark, and that spark could be other people who already create something very beautiful and gorgeous through their imagination, and that their imagination could spark your imagination. It's very powerful. And number 10 is exploring nature. Exploring nature is a beautiful thing when you're going and be able to really sit down and look into the clouds, the speed, the pace, the colors, the sizes. It's a beautiful thing, like trees and leaves and really river and the sounds, like all those things. I don't know. For me, maybe I'm very nature person. I get energized by nature. So for me, it's very essential to really allow myself to spend some time in nature that I could build more presence, more groundedness, more imagination. Because I know that the more imagination I have, the easier it will be to solve problems. Because at the end of the day, when you solve problems, you need to be very creative. You need to be creative with solutions. Imagination is very important for that. So I truly believe that we need to work very hard to improve our creativity, our imagination on multiple areas of life. Even really building a relationship is imagination. How are you able to creatively improve your relationships, improve your business, improve your health? All those things will improve when you're able to be much more creative. So I hope that you reflect and what do you do on a consistent basis, on daily basis, to improve your imagination. And I hope that you will improve and start adding one activity per day to really work on that. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.